Hello, people. Um, yeah, that's a fish bag you see. I went to get my second dose of the vaccine today, and I took advantage of the trip. Well, we took great advantage of the trip. It's not every day we go to Eugene. It's a bit of a drive, so. Yeah, these fish have something in common with Terry Irwin. They come from Eugene. um, but anyway, had to go to Eugene for my second stab in the arm, and this is how I took advantage of the trip. Not that the getting the vaccine and being complete with that is not enough. But I added the advantage because there's a pet fools there, so I got fish. So yeah, there's the fish. I will come down here, and I guess I really did get 4. Huh. The whole way home it looked like there was 3. Now these are neon tetras, so I'll do my best. There they are. I am going to let them out, of course. But there's them in the bag. I think that's a pretty good shot for a teeny tiny little fish in a bag. With writing all over the place. I assume it's directions for how to quarantine them to a tank. Well, I've been dealing with fish forever. Matter of fact, the memory that bursted these little neon tetras, it's like one of my very first experiences with fish 30 plus years ago. I know a 90-year-old woman. Well, she was 93 when she told the story. She died at 95. She said a long time ago, when she was referring to the same woman, her name was Carlson, but she wasn't referring to the fish. I don't even know if she realizes it's my aunt. I don't know if she even realizes that Carlson kept fish, but she did have a fishing shack, along with the garden, which kind of ties all these hobbies of mine together. Really miss that woman. But she talks about a long time ago at the fishing shack. And then some story about the fishing shack will come out of her. Well, it would. She has passed now, too. So this is one of my original experiences. She had these itty-bitty tiny neon tetras. Now, for an elderly woman with only one eye, these little guys are hard to see. Kind of like us trying to look at them in the bag through a camera. And she was constantly dumping them down the drain every time she cleaned the tank. We're not talking water change. We're talking a tear down where the fish go into a tub of some sort, and you wash the tank, and you scrub the tank, and you clean out the filter. You might even use soap with the idea that you're going to rinse it really well. Well, she wasn't killing the fish from new tank syndrome, which is what my mom would do to my fish, because even these little 10-gallon, I'm not sure mine was a 10-gallon. It might have been because I was a little kid, but I think they were 20 or 30-gallon tanks. Or it might have been that I was a really little kid. So she would tear down the tank and clean it, and inevitably some of her fish would go down the drain. Well, my uncle gives me a bunch of his convict fish. Well, 3 or 4 of his convict fish. Well, the convicts, these are black convicts. I certainly didn't know of pink convicts at the time. This is the 80s. But he gave us his black convicts. So we had this amazing idea that we would give Grandma, because I called her Grandma. She was of no relation, but I called her Grandma. So we would give Grandma a couple of these bigger fish. She wouldn't flush them down the toilet, and they would look nice chasing the tetras around. Yeah, you know where this is going. If you know tetras and you know cons, you know where this is going. But my family had no idea of a water change, much less we should. I mean, there was the fishing shack. We should know what happens when big fish meet little fish. But it didn't click. So we give Grandma, I don't know, a number of these convicts. And she likes the idea too. Oh, I can see these, she says. So we float them because we know enough to float them. And we release them into the tank. Well, being the hardy fish that convicts are, they had no problem. But they were a little stressed, so it didn't happen immediately. We walked away and did some things, and later I come back to see how the fish are doing. And she had, who knows how many of these little tetras with a few of the cons. And I come back and I look, and there's still some tetras, but a significant amount of them seem to be missing. Gee, I wonder where they went. Yeah. By the next day, Grandma had no neon tetras. But she did have the cons, and, you know, she wasn't going to wash them down the drain. It became clear cons are aggressive fish. Meanwhile, back home, I've got some convicts. We'll go back to their original name from time to time. And they're in with my goldfish. But that's another rant for another video. That's a good one. I think that's better than this one. But this is going back to the beginnings. My first experiences with fish were technically these little neons. So, yeah. I think we will dedicate this video, if you don't mind, to humble beginnings and my grandma, Miss Carlson. I knew it would be a challenge to get through this video without crying, but I won't apologize. So, yeah, if you can hear a choke in my throat, yeah. So, that's the bit on the fish. Returning to beginnings. Remembering a great woman. But is what I need to do. Like I said, I got my second shot of the vaccine. And in anticipation of possibly not feeling good for a day or two, I've already got a sore arm. I know some will blame that on the needle. But, yeah, I don't believe it's the needle's fault. And I'm kind of happy for it. It shows my body is responding to the vaccine. And so far, I've got a sore arm and a slight headache. The arm is more annoying than the headache, but they should both pass. We will see if the nausea comes in later tonight or tomorrow. Had that a little tiny bit with the first one. So, we'll see. We will see. But in the meantime, let me give the base of this a whiff. Okay, I no longer smell the aroma of cut bamboo. Quite strong. Whenever I cut it, it's quite strong, but it fades pretty quickly. And let's face it, I may enjoy the smell, but it's a reminder that I hurt the plant. The smell is basically its chemical scream of pain. Phalaenopsis orchids can do it too. When I drop this purple one here, the emergency that was for a little bit, when it initially came out of the pot and fell on its face, it broke a leaf and some roots, and it did the aroma scream of, how could you do this to me? This hurts. So Phalaenopsis can do it too. At least some of them. I don't go around breaking my leaves on purpose. So, this seems to be, it's definitely dry. And I think it's probably ready. It's not very big. I stretch my arm out here, and yeah, I'll put it so you don't get distracted from the others. That's how big it is. Ooh, fall over the bed. So, I think it's time to put this in dirt. As you can see, there's nothing. I've got some root tone. I think I even filmed it on, well, it's in the 2.0 side of it. One of the first ones. But I'm not going to put any kind of root tone on. I'm just going to put it in the dirt. And it looks like I forgot to prep the dirt because it should be soaking wet, and it's not. So this ain't going to get the best start. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to poke it in there, and we'll grab a bottle of water and we'll wet the dirt at the same time. So here we go. I'm going to pull a stick out of, yeah, that plant, aloe vera. Saw a lot of aloe vera today, too. I was at a store, and I guess they were selling some form, I don't know what I was filming just now, some form of aloe vera, and everybody was taking home an aloe. Okay, maybe not everybody, but there was a few aloes that went home. Not a bad idea. I do think that owning an aloe vera is a good idea. It's possibly a different kind than I've got, but whatever. I've already got one, so I didn't buy one. Okay, so we've got it poked down into the dirt quite a little ways. There we go. Yes, it's leaning because it was at an angle. We'll see if we can get it to straighten up. Kind of tamp it down a little bit. There's no roots to hurt. Unless it's the roots of that one that, yeah, I don't see it doing anything. Ouch, ouch, ouch. My arm hurts. Okay. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. So we'll take some water. I'm going to take a full bottle of water to make room. Because I'm going to do, when I open that bag, I'm going to do something that I don't recommend. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm doing all this with one bad arm. Let's give this a good solid drink. get this dirt wet. Yes. And we got some bubbles over there. So we're going to get it wet, and I'm going to keep it moist best I can. I don't want it to dry out until it gets a good start. Yeah. So I'm just going to keep it pretty moist for a week or 2 weeks. And that's how you do it. You can make a hole. I don't like shoving the stem down, but make a hole with a stick, or you could do it with your finger, I suppose. I just had that stick handy, so I used it. And you plop it in there and keep the dirt moist for a while. And we will see its progress. Not that I need any more, but yeah. There's room. See, it can live over there when that one moves out. I keep forgetting about those speakers piled with things. Okay. So I think I didn't just come home and film this. These guys have been in the tank for a while. So I think they can come out. And I don't know how far I got with this, but I'm just going to dump, there's 4 of them in there. I'm just going to dump them into the tank, water and all. They seem healthy enough. I think I need to wrap this up. I know dinner's going to be ready in a minute. So I'm going to release these guys and call it a video. But I'm just going to put the water and everything into the tank and rely on the salt in the water to kind of buffer them a little bit and be the stress coat for them, which is one thing you can use salt for. There's just not really enough, but that's okay. I'm going to do the best I can for them, but I'm not going to follow the book to the letter. I really think that these guys will be just fine. I see no reason to stress over a little bit of store water going in the tank. I don't have any truly expensive fish in here, for one thing. But I don't want to pinch anybody in the bag either. To see it just, the air gets sucked out, and you gotta be careful. Get out of the bag. I think I've done it correctly. Let's tip it up in case there is a fish in there. Sorry about the view. I think we've got everybody in the tank. We'll come down here and see what can be seen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's in the tank. See? And they didn't go straight to the bottom. They're swimming around. Yeah. Okay, they're toward the bottom, but they're over here. That's where I keep the bottle of water behind the tank. They're kind of hiding behind the sponge. But anyway, there are fish in Fishy Plant Man videos again. All right. With that, I will talk to you next time.